everybody, welcome to my home studio, known as Amethyst, as you know. As you can see behind me, it's purple. It's dumb, it's my favorite color. And it's my birthstone, what can you say? I'm going to take you on a quick tour of my studio and all my favorite toys and things that I use to create Amethyst. It's nothing too spectacular, but I like it and it's cozy. So sit right there and let me go behind the camera and show you some stuff, okay? Cool. Okay, there's me. And I'm sitting in my chair. And pretty much this is what I look at all day, every day. Pro Tools. It's the only software I use. My mix window, my edit window. This is it. If I can't do it in here, I just don't want to know. It's just my little rule for myself. My main keyboard controller, painted down here, basic Nord Lead 2. I had a Nord Lead 1, but while I was working over at Alma with it, somebody actually walked into the building and stole it. So they bought me a Nord Lead 2. Sitting on top of the Nord Lead 2, Virus, old school, basic Virus A, the original. It's still cool, it still works, it still sounds awesome, I still use it. Even though I have the plug-in version in Pro Tools. I like this one better. I'm kind of a hardware guy, and I think as you see, I kind of prefer hardware stuff to software stuff. That's why we just skip right over all the software stuff. Let's see. Speakers. I just got these Tannoys, the purple guys, right here. They're awesome. My first speakers I had were these Gentle X up on top here. They have a subwoofer. So, we'll go over here from my center position, and my synth rack here, kind of taking a day off, so I don't have any of it turned on. So, EMU sampler. I still like the EMU samplers. I have an E6400 that I've upgraded with the full memory and everything. Below that, an EMU Oddity. Just a weird kind of Proteus-esque sort of synth. It's really cool. I have some extra ROMs in there. Below that, a weird synth that was only made for a brief time called the Yamaha FS1R, I think it is. I can't remember now. It's just a weird beast. It's hard to explain. It does a lot of things with vocalization stuff. Below that, Waldorf Microwave XT. Beautiful sounding synth. Had that one for quite a while. And then down the bottom, stuff I don't use quite as often, I have a Virtuoso 2000, which is kind of a giant orchestral, just an orchestral box for when I do have to mock up some sort of score stuff. Below that, K2000, fully loaded, and below that, an old Alesis DM Pro drum machine, and below that, my Studio 5 MIDI interface. That is primary synth world. There are some hardware synths, which we'll show you. Let's pan over here to the other side. One of my newer purchases, the Alesis Andromeda A6. Look at all those knobs and flashing lights. That is a sexy keyboard. It is pretty awesome sounding. I don't know what else I can say about it, except it just does everything. And then back behind Record World, I have a JP8000, and below that, a Weird Kawaii K5000S. This was their attempt at making a Nord Lead, and nobody bought them, and so they were blowing them out of Sam Ash for 300 bucks, and it's a really, really awesome sounding synth for 300 bucks. Okay, so those are pretty. Oh no! Check it out. This is my newest, latest, greatest, the Roland V synth. This thing is so amazing sounding, it's freaky. And built into it is this thing they call the time trip pad. It's kind of like a chaos pad. You can scratch the samples like you would on vinyl, or you can map parameters to the X and the Y and draw all over it. It also has two D-beam things where you can put your hand over. You can see the lights flashing here and there. And I can't even explain it. It's basically a mangler, and we know how much I like to mangle things. So this is my newest. This just came out a couple weeks ago, and I had to have one. First kid on the block. And then behind that, I don't want to forget, the good old Korg Electribe analog drum machine. So that's pretty much it for synth world. There's a few synths I've retired that are in the closet and stuff like that, but then we'll go to Guitar Central. I really like the sounding direct guitars. I do record amps. I put them in the other room. We'll show you that later. But I really like just huge, crunchy guitars. So on top we have just your basic tuner, and below that the Marshall JMP1, which was their tube preamp for recording. Below that is the Mesa Boogie Tri-Axis. Again, all tube preamp. That's where all the heavy tones come from. Below that, you're all probably familiar with the Pod Pro, and below that, a Bass Pod Pro. Both are very, very good units. And then get down here to filter and effects world. This one here in the middle, kind of hard to see, but that's a Fireworks, TC Fireworks. Known for just crazy sounding effects, distortions, and a lot of mod type effects. Definitely otherworldly type effects. You wouldn't buy this for your basic reverb and delay. Although it does do that, it's not what it was made for. Below that, some electric gear, the Mo Effects, the blue one. Really great, really warm, really analog. Such as the distortion here, and then a flanger, and a tremolo, and a delay, all of which could be tap tempoed on the tap tempo button, or you can lock it to beat clock and send it MIDI, and you can select frequency ranges of which you'd want the effect to go on. Just a great sounding box. Below that, their Electric's Filter Factory. It's just a stereo filter. Also, they call it over here, they call it buzz, but it's really distortion. And then you can select between low pass, high pass, band pass, and a notch filter with varying LFO sweeps and stuff. Really great. This company is actually now pretty much out of business. So for all you gearheads out there, I highly recommend getting on eBay and finding Electric's gear and picking up everything you can. They make 5 boxes total. These two, a red one, it looks just like this, but it's red, it's a vocoder, called the Warp Factory. And then they have 2 small ones. We're gonna go over here and show you this. It's kind of tucked away, so it's kind of buried underneath the cables. This is the EQ Killer. It's a tiny little half rack space thing. It's like a 3-band EQ that you can set which ones you even want to use, and then they make a same size mini version of the filter as well. Moving on down, below all the electric stuff, is a Sherman filter. Great, crazy European filter. And below that, a classic, an Eventide 3000. It's been upgraded, so it's pretty much a 3500 on the inside, but it says 3000 DSC on the outside. And that's pretty much it. Go over here, below that EQ Killer, I should probably show you the another line 6-piece of gear that I really like. This is the Filter Pro, another filter box, and really, really cool sounding. A lot of mods, a lot of recreations of stuff in there. Really good. This is my junk rack, by the way. Patch bay, nothing too exciting. CD, that. To record everything, I still prefer all analog. So we patch all the keyboards, whichever ones they may be, through a variety of direct boxes. Usually these Avalons right here, U5s, or above them are Summit Audio Tube DI. So I have really huge solid state and really warm tube sound stuff. Both are really, really great. And there's 2, so I can do stereo. From there, they feed the mic pre's and compressors. Going up, we'll go up this time, a Joe Meek vocal channel. The little black one here, this one that says Brent Averill, these are vintage API mic pre's here in the middle, also with a DI. Above those, these are GML mic pre's, George Massenburg, really clean, really beautiful. Above that is where it says Vintech Audio here. This is they call it an X73. It's basically a incredibly faithful recreation of a vintage Neve channel, Neve 1073 channel, only for 1/3 of the money. If you can even find vintage 1073s. Above that is this weird little, they call it the RNC, really nice compressor. It's just a tiny $200 little line level compressor. Great for keyboards, doesn't do anything too extreme. Above that, a distressor, a modern classic. It will really, really spank things on the way in, and it's just great. And the best part of anything that has, there it is, anything that has a nuke switch is all good. Above that a Universal Audio 1176, and above that a pair of vintage DBX 160s. These are great. These are my favorites for drums, kick and snare. That's why I permanently leave a piece of tape on them. It just kind of says kick, snare. Great vintage compressors. And then I've been collecting eBay stuff, so my rack extends. Above that we have a sub harmonizer box. Really cool for adding really low end stuff. I use it as a send. You can see the frequencies here. 28, 34, 40, and 50. Really cool to send a little bass, a little kick drum through, just to give yourself a little sub. Above that, a pair of 160Xs, another pair of vintage compressors. Above that, a vintage BBE Sonic Maximizer. Above that, a Anthony DeMario Labs makes an incredible tube compressor. It's much like an LA2A. This is the ADL 1000, it's called. And then above that is my vintage API Lunchbox EQs. I have 4 channels worth of EQs. I have one graphic here, that's the graphic 560, a pair of 550As, and then one old 550, which was like the very first EQ that API did. So everything runs through here in some sort of combination, feeds into my A to D converter, which I like the Apogee here. I use a Rosetta stereo, just A to D, great sounding. And then digitally that feeds into Pro Tools, and that's where all the recording's done. Mixing then comes back out of Pro Tools here, through my rack of 888s down there, over to my console, which at the moment is still a Yamaha O2R. Let's back out here just a bit. I really do like it. It's a workhorse. I've owned it for over 6 years. It's never crashed. It's just pretty phenomenal, and you can do 100 different setups at once. So I have so many projects going on, and I have so much MIDI stuff. I leave all my MIDI gear kind of normaled into the analog faders, and then all my Pro Tools comes in through the digital faders. It's just a great board. Although she's close to retirement, I'm considering getting the O2R 96, the newest, latest, greatest version of this console. It just came out a couple months ago. So that's pretty much it. And I'm trying to think what else is in my room here of interest. I guess that's pretty much the world as I sit here and view it. That's basically what I look at all day, every day. That's the door that goes outside when I feel like getting sun, which I can't do for here. Yeah, it's gonna totally blur this out, but here's my back deck off my studio. That table right there is the smoker's lounge, since no one's allowed to smoke in the house. It goes up into my backyard. We don't let the sun in. And then, let's take a little walk. I don't know if you can see me in here. There we go. Okay, so that's pretty much the studio world. I'm looking at the thing over here, but I know you're right there, so just, you have to bear with me. So we're going in this other little room I have. This is everything from a vocal booth to a drum booth to sometimes just a junk closet. But I'm just finishing one project, so it's in a bit of disarray, but it's going to be emptied and then turned back into my normal tracking drum room again shortly. So let me now flip this around so you can actually see what I'm talking about. There we go. I have this small room. My studio where we were was right through here. This is pretty much where I'm doing all my tracking these days. Sometimes this little room, it looks a lot bigger on camera for some reason, but I deaden it down and put up more. I keep sound deadening materials on the wall. I can increase those and make it deader for vocals, or I can open up. Put my drum set back in here. I use this little Yamaha drum kit, jazz kit. And that's pretty much it. Behind the drum set there, this is pedal world, or pedal storage world I should say. My baby amp collection, some extra little filter boxes. That's the Adrenaline. I think somebody saw that in a photo online and was asking what that was. Yeah, it's the Roger Lynn Adrenaline little stomp box drum machine thing. That's a Waldorf filter, external filter box. And then down here on the shelf, you can see things down there. There's some old Zoom boxes, some DIs. There's the Mooger Foogers pedals Bob Moog makes. There's one of those Effects pedals, some Sans Amp stuff. That's a Trio D. There's the Experience pedal, the purple one, a bunch of Boss. You can tell I really take care of stuff. Down on the bottom shelf, there's a Big Muff, Qtron. I have a guitar and a bass microsynth. Whammy pedals are back in there. And then just for fun, everybody needs a toy accordion, I think. The drum set I keep pretty basically mic'd. This is basic classic mic 101. Show you that in case anybody wants to try some stuff at home. Inside the kick, can't really see it, but I just keep a vintage D12 classic microphone. We move over here to the snare. Everything's pretty standard here. We have a 57 on the top and a 441 on the bottom. Also great for vocals, but just great snare mic. Hi-hat, just a 451, just kind of classic mic. 421s on the toms. Again, pretty standard issue classic tom-tom miking. And lastly, since I am so tight for space, I got one of these great Rode stereo microphones. You can see it comes in an XY pattern. It's like having a pair of 451s. And we did some experimenting. It's very cost effective, by the way, and also very space effective, as if that's even a word. So you can see we experimented with some, and we just decided to put it kind of low over the kit. Just kind of gives it a full sound. Just keep it kind of like that. And then one of my other favorite drum toys is this thing. It's a cocktail kit, just kind of like I said. The room's in disarray. Everybody knows I'm a neat freak. But it's great. You stand up and you hit the kick from the bottom, you hit the top from the snare, and it's like an old 30s style jazz kit. Also, different things I've been trying. You can see laying on the floor over there is a PZM microphone. Kind of one of the classic things we used to do with nails was tape PZM to the wall. So I was experimenting with that and laying them all over the place in weird places. You can put them on the ceiling up there. You can put them anywhere. And the last thing then is I'll stick a room mic, like a 414 or something, which is just sitting right there. Right outside my studio, I have this little alcove, and a lot of times I'll stick a 414 in the furthest corner, or the alcove has this huge skylight in it. I'll stick a mic way up in there, up in the skylight, and you can hear how boomy it is out here. And if you get back in the corner and look in there, you can kind of see what I'm going for out here. Get some cool sounds. And out here I keep my guitar collection. So just a Telly, my bass, 5-string jazz bass, awesome bass. Taylor acoustic, beautiful. A Dan Electro, a Les Paul, and a 5-string metal bass. All sitting beneath a painting of Pinhead by Clive Barker that I bought at a Clive Barker art show a few years ago. So, there's a little walk through my world. I'm gonna walk in here without hopefully killing myself. And that's it. I'll put you guys down. How about that? Look at that, like a pro. So anyway, there's a little tour of all my favorite toys and all my favorite gear here in the studio. So I'm gonna actually get back to work because I have a new tweeter record I'm supposed to be writing. So have fun. Thanks for buying the DVD, and hopefully we'll see you all on tour sometime this year. Bye.
This is a most peculiar trip.